What's going on? Tonight, we can get a little personal. That's right, we're going to go behind the scenes. We're going to talk about some challenges I've been having. Because this has been a really tough week. It's been, you know, let me go ahead and just start at the beginning. First of all, I had this issue with Stripe. Then I went ahead and applied to three payment processors, and the last one came back today. They want to see 5 years tax returns, and the company that I applied is only 2 years old. And I was like, well, you knew that when you asked me that. And that's like what they want. And I said, well, I can send bank statements, so we got that going on. That was a little depressing. So then I just started today. I've been digging into data. I've been doing a lot of research, and I've come up with a different way of looking at it, because essentially the problem is everyone thinks that my website heavywallet.org is some kind of, I don't know, it's just the weirdest thing, because one of those people, one of those companies were like, they refused it based upon the website. And I'm like, I'm not offering money. It's just financial education. And then I remembered what happened when I did Hustlers Kung Fu, and I got, rejected on that. And that's just been, a problem that I've dealt with for years. And one of the things that I don't think that people talk about is being an online entrepreneur, how difficult and challenging it can be at times. Because part of it is the things that you have to go through. Um, and it's very time consuming. It's very time consuming, because one of these companies, because I've been on the phone, I've been applying for funding. Now, the good news is all the funding that I applied for, I got. It was easier to get money out of people than to sign up for these merchant accounts, which, you know, they act like they're taking such a big risk. When in reality, they're not. I mean, my chargeback rate is very low. And one of the analysts even said that. It's like, hey, we're looking at your PayPal thing. It's like your chargebacks are very low. And I'm just sitting there like, these are the people who were giving me money. So a big part of this is I got to look at what I'm doing, because sometimes when you have an ideal, like take a website, this is one of the things that I have learned, I've come to know. You have a website, you go ahead and hook it up to the payment processor. Depending upon the name of the website, they can reject you. So when you've done all of this stuff, you come up with the name and everything. And another part of this is I don't think people understand the challenges of being an online entrepreneur. Because essentially, you spend a lot of time alone unless you go to a networking co-space where you get to meet people and mingle and stuff. But that's just not my jam. That's not something that I want to do. So, a big part of this is I'm getting ready to revamp the online business, because, you know, you learn a lot as you go down this road. You learn a lot. And I've learned a lot of lessons from hustlerskungfulifeskills.com. I've learned so many lessons from that. And, it's funny, Disruptive Mail, the YouTube channel, is percolating. And the new channel is kind of like ain't really hitting on nothing yet. So I got to add more content. But if you're going to start an online business, there's so many things that you have to deal with. And it's starting to remind me of like when I had a physical business. I remember going down to get my first business license. And I went to the website, read everything, went down there, and then the lady asked me a few questions, and all of a sudden we go from $139 to me going around the office to this guy who was a civil engineer who asked me for a print, which I did not have. So I could not get my business license that day after dropping the 139. So I had to go back, and I'm creative, so I just drew up the print myself, went back, spent another $100 and got my business license. And this is one of the things that you're going to find out as an entrepreneur, that you could do all of your research. They still have a gotcha. There's still going to be some that's just going to come up and pop and percolate. There's just going to be something. And it's like, thank you, Mr. G, for the $20 super chat. The 5 checking accounts advice is working for me. It will work for you, man. It will work for you. I'm glad to hear that. Much appreciated. And if you didn't know, Mr. G is an amputee. Once again, these are people who have extraordinary challenges just to do ordinary things that people do not, as people take for granted. People take a lot of stuff for granted. And, it's like I said, it's been a tough week because one of the things I hate doing is getting on the phone, talking to people. It's just to me, it's time consuming. It is an issue with time management. So another thing, the internet business. Everybody wants the internet business. Everybody wants the laptop lifestyle. You put in a lot of hours for a successful internet business. My first, I don't even call it an internet business, how I fell off into this. I was, doing the YouTube channel. I was selling my book. And that was just way easier to do that than the current thing that's going on. All I did was make videos, TV shows came on, people directed traffic to Amazon, people bought my book. That was very, very easy. And when I got away from that period in time, timing can be a very important part of your success. I hit that at the right time in history. Could never be duplicated. I saw people launching storage auction products, years after I did, and they all failed. It's just like if Steve Jobs was alive today and he tried to build an Apple today from scratch, it wouldn't work. The time for Apple and Microsoft to build these computers, that was way back. That window of time was open back then. Like Dell, I think they were public, then they were not public. Dell's been fighting to keep their business going and revamping how they sell stuff because people aren't using computers like they used to. How many of you in the 80s and 90s had a computer in the house? A Compact, an IBM, a Dell. It was new. The internet, the computer and the internet were becoming appliances. And everybody was getting it on. Like if you had how many people remember when you had an email address? That was something special. I remember in the early days of Craigslist and the storage auction storage auction business, My email open rates were like 90 something percent. That's how effective email was back then because I got some email. Cool. And now, people have multiple email accounts. People don't have check all of their accounts. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Let's talk about making money. Pull up a video today, deciding to make money. Commodore 64, Apple IIe, the IBM, my father still has them all. AOL, remember all of those discs we used to get in the mail? That was a special time in history. And if you're trying to build your business the way that they built those businesses, it just ain't gonna work. And what I'm coming to understand is we are in a new information age. That handshake sound, that was funny. Do 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 do. So, I'm just sitting here looking at, the challenges. Because, you get people up here talking about Shopify stores, Amazon FBAs, but you rarely get someone who's going to sit down and tell you about all of the challenges. So, if you're going to start an internet business, your first and biggest problem, which I see in forums all day long, people will go ahead and get a website built. They will order products from China. They'll do all of this stuff before they do this thing. You need an audience. What's up, Scott Fitcher? Welcome. You're going to need an audience to sell your product or service to. And this is something that many people do not think about. Many people just come online and think it's going to be easy. Like I was listening to these stories of people who bought courses and they didn't work out well. And I was just listening to the person. I want you to think. You are working at McDonald's. You are a low wage employee. There's nothing remarkable about you. There's nothing special about you. And you think you're going to take a $2,500 course and start making six figures. I listen to this stuff and the lack of self-awareness is so crazy. Like going back to the days, IBM used to have a 6-month in-house sales training program. As far as I know, they still do. And you would get these people out here who will take these courses, and I can just tell by the way that they communicate in their reviews that they're not remarkable people. A remarkable person started in the business and make $1 million the first year. Justin Henry, it took me years. I'm still just coming up. You're right about 2 to 5 years for development. But nobody wants to hear that. And this is how they get hoodwinked into these courses. Because I'm just sitting there and, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And it took me about 18 months of being in business. And it took me 100 hours of self-help. Brian Tracy, I listened to a lot of him, Tommy Hopkins, Tony Robbins. I spent hours and hours and hours on personal development to help me become a better salesperson. And it took a minute. It really took a minute. And right now we have people who feel because they're smart and they put their credit card in there, and within 3 to 4 months they're going to be making six figures. And I see why a lot of people aren't successful when they take online courses, because this is the whole reason for the prep course. I was listening to this guy today. He was like, he took this course so he didn't have to go to school. Mr. G, hard work is not sexy. Saying it on Instagram is, hence the lackluster results. Because, one of the things I've told you guys since day one of me being here on YouTube, it's going to take some time for you to be successful. And I've been preaching that, and, people, and when I'll get a message from someone that's like, man, I've been listening to you. I finally took action. And here it is, like 2 years later, now it's really starting to happen. But you're not going to get to that point until you get started. And this is one of the things, like with an internet business, I think the problem is the marketing commercials that are all over the internet that's misleading and confusing people. I'm going to disagree a little bit with that, because you see something where you take this course, you're going to be making $150,000, $300,000 a year, and you never in your life made over $30,000. If you're self-aware, you're going to go, that's probably not going to work out for me, because there was levels. I started off at Rent-A-Crate at $45,000 plus commission. Then I went to panel systems and I was making $75,000. Then I went to business environment and I started making six figures because I was getting 50% of the net. And for those of you who don't know what that is, when you do a deal, that's the net profit. So if you do a $250,000 deal and the net profit is $100K, I would get $50,000. But the money. But going back to the internet business, everybody wants the internet business because they think you can just slap up a website and you're going to get traffic. Two things about the internet business. First thing you should think about while you're thinking about your internet business is, how am I going to get traffic? Internet life skills. Internet just added another layer on top of conventional sales skills. Base level skills are still required. Very much so. You still need to know how to get traffic. And once you get a lead, like someone asked me, because I'm going to put this up, I'm going to do a special video for Disruptive Mail. Someone like, Craigslist, a lot of things, the experiences I've had, you're not going to be able to replicate because Craigslist has changed. There's a few dating sites that you can still use these protocols on, but once you figure some stuff out, the internet's going to change the rules. This is one of the things that's going to change the rules once you figure it out, because it constantly changes. Being an online entrepreneur, you can have a moment where it can be like shooting fish in a barrel, and enjoy that moment. Wash the money all over your body and enjoy it, because it ain't gonna last long. Because the internet changes, YouTube changes, Facebook changes, Google changes. What was allowed in 2009, you can't do anymore. There's so many things that can get your Facebook ad account banned that you don't even know. Black Caesar. Everyone who is marketing how to make money on the internet is just saying, give me 15 minutes to show you exactly how I made $100,000 in 3 months, but you learn a few techniques that I can teach you. Oh man, it's just it ain't gonna happen. It's just not really gonna happen for most people because one of the things I learned from the storage auction business that still helps me today is tenacity. Um, they were on me when I first came out. I was driving the BMW. I dressed nice. I looked so dissimilar from them. They were on me, and it brought up the fight in me, and I kept fighting. So this is something else. If you're an online entrepreneur, you're going to have a level of stick to itness. I don't. Three Kings. I don't know anything about buying businesses. I've never bought a business. And I don't think that buying a business is less risky than starting one because if you don't do what the founder of that business has doing, your business it ain't gonna work. It's just not gonna work. And also, any business that's gonna make good money is gonna cost you a grip. Like, if there's a website out there that's making $2 million, to buy it's going to cost you 4 to 5 million up front, and then you got to sell for a few years before you get your money back, and then after that is when you get into profit. You know, because like this week, it made me reflect on a lot of things that are going on in the internet space. Like I'm not really. I haven't watched one of the new Alex Becker videos, but he's on some woo woo stuff. Because he used to be Mr. Flash. I got the $40,000 Rolex. I got the $200 sports car. Now he's a minimalist, and as I said before, Alex is very smart, and he knows how markets move. And a lot of people are on this minimalist kick. I mean, millions and millions of people are on this kick, and he's going to tap into it. I don't know if it's an authentic move or it's just a marketing move because I don't know Alex, but I do know it's going to work. And this is one of the things that I have struggled with in my online entrepreneur journey. I don't fake it very well. And like, I'm not going to become a minimalist. I don't really believe in minimalism. My mindset is if I want it, I'm going to figure out how to get the money so I can get it. Not how I'm going to cram my life down into, I'm going to convince myself I'm happy with nothing. It took G 9 years to grow this channel. His audience has hustled a few life skills brands. Then why would people think it's going to be easier for them? Because they special. Their mama told them they were special. Jesus loves them. They're special. But really, it's a lack of awareness. It's a fundamental lack of awareness why many people try to start an online business and then they don't really understand what they're getting into. Because, like I'm a member of ClickFunnels. Oh, and let's talk about ClickFunnels, which is a wonderful product. I like it. However, this is where a lot of challenges have come, and I've hit a point where I'm moving very slow. And it didn't help that I was sick last week. I didn't work for like 4 days because I was sick as a dog. That didn't help. But typically, when I'm in a good space, I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm putting out training. I'm moving. And right now, I've hit this pause button because of all of this stuff with Stripe and trying to create workarounds. And it's made me come to a new position in life because I'm getting ready to redo everything. because I go back, and this is one of the good things. Like you know, if you've had success in your life, you can look back and see exactly what you were doing to be successful. And this is one of the things that I'm getting ready to do. Ganji, to be honest, I got more stuff done in a week than in 3 months by reducing my YouTube consumption by 90%. Wow. Engineering life skills. Preach. A business owner must be able to change with the market and customer base. Even Gary Vee told his employees to run if he ever sells the company. Wow. I didn't know that. Because, I'm getting ready to go back to some basics because I don't know if I'm going to keep ClickFunnels. The Facebook group is very active. There's all kinds of stuff in there. But I may not need ClickFunnels. I'm going to weigh that option out because this is where the slowdown started with ClickFunnels. First, it was the learning curve, how to design the funnel, and then integrating the payment gateways. And the PayPal thing is kind of hit or miss. And sometimes someone will do a checkout and I'll get a transaction ID, and other times I don't know what happens. And that did not happen with Stripe, but they're groomed for Stripe. So when you're thinking about starting an online business, you got so many things to look at. But your first thing, Ganja, Mr. GM, find myself to be more creative lately. Too much information consumption will shut it down. And that's where I am. I've been in contacting these companies for funding, the things they want. They want your article, they want your corporate papers, they want your EIN, they want your bank statements. And, you know, that worked. I got all the funding that I went for. But the crap with the merchant account where they want to see 5 years, I'm like, and I was just telling the guys, like, I've had merchant accounts before. They didn't ask for none of that stuff. When I had a physical business, I went through four different merchant accounts because they were constantly trying to outsell each other. And essentially, they just wanted my corporation, my business, and that was it. And now they want, but once again, the email. Because let me read it to you. Let's see, because he didn't even contact me back. Let's see. Daryl Pepper, due to your requested volume and the perceived risk, membership site with content and delayed service, the banking partner will need financials, 5 years of tax returns. And they also want me to put MagDaddy Media on the website. Essentially, they want me to do stuff that's going to confuse people. It's just sitting there like, I'm sitting there like, what? So I just went ahead and pushed back like, 5 years. I've had merchant accounts before. Why do you need this? This company's only like 2 years old. So what's this? Y'all knew that because you got the corporate papers. You saw the corporation date, and it's just that was frustrating because I've been waiting on that to use the ClickFunnels because there's a few things that integrate with ClickFunnels as a payment system, and this is one of them because Stripe isn't going to work with that domain. They're not going to work. I've dealt with them before. Once they make that decision, there ain't no getting around it. Once you're on the bad list, your name's written in the scarlet letter. Father Dance, be water, my friend, Bruce Lee. It's just been a frustrating week because I want to get stuff going. And then, delay. And this is just part of being an entrepreneur, dealing with these issues and having things happen like this. And also, with YouTube, YouTube does not send notifications to the majority of my subscribers. It only sends notifications to a very small group of people. And at one point, it was getting better, and now it's getting worse because typically, like, let me go ahead and tell you what happened. In the first day, then it would kind of die off. Then I said, hey, let's start putting up more videos. Let's start putting up more videos. And what YouTube did is divided the views. So if I put up 2 videos, each video would get like 1,000 views. I was getting the same views even if I put more videos up. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep pushing this. I'm going to keep pushing this because, I know where I went wrong with YouTube, and I'm starting new channels. Like Disruptive Mail is starting to gain some traction because I figured out a way. Because, if you didn't know the whole story with my Disruptive Mail content, I started a channel that was growing like gangbusters. But because of the content, I had people reporting videos. I had people, and then YouTube flagged the channel, and it just stopped growing. I can tell you exactly because I got like 4,000 subscribers the first month. Then it only has 6,000 subscribers. Then it just started slowing down. Rona Stockard, if you use Stripe for like selling basket weaving or something, they've just had a problem with Hustlers Kung Fu. That was a problem with that channel. They had a problem with disrupt. Like, this is funny. I was using Stripe for Disruptive Mail, and I literally got away with that for about 4 or 5 months. Then I got the emails like, because you sell sexually suggestive products, we can no longer support this. It took them 3 months to catch up with that. So, more than likely, if you sell something pedestrian, you're never going to have any problems with it. But my life has been kind of edgy. It is what it is. I don't know what's up to him. Zola Merchant is getting the right merchant account a matter of doing business with the right bank. Credit unions offer comparable merchant accounts. Zola, the thing is, the merchant account that I needs to integrate with ClickFunnels. So it was one of their suggested preventers, and that was the problem. Come on, bro. You should know that whenever you make plans and goals to do something, it usually costs more and takes more time than we plan because there are variables out of control, i.e., people. Yes and no. When I launched Hustler Kung Fu Life Skills, um, that went amazingly well. But I had the right audience, I had the right product. And once again, one of the things I'm looking at is all of this delay stuff that's happening. Because I got to ask myself, going forward, is ClickFunnels going to be worth the aggravation to use it? Because I'm getting ready to go ahead and do a new domain name because it ain't working. And I know that as long as we stay stalled, time is moving forward. And I'm just sitting there, letting y'all know what it's like to be an online entrepreneur. It ain't all gravy. Jason Clutch, I get no notifications from your channel, but I hit the bell, which I haven't done in any channel, let you know if it works for me at least. All right, Jason, appreciate that. Pap Entertainment, did not try an econ business in Canada. New diversity laws could have a huge sale rise to emergent invaders. What? Good Lord. Canada, really? Good Lord. Well, that's going on in Canada. That isn't happening in the United States. Thank you, Black Hoodie Fitness. I'm just sharing, my life and some of my struggles. Because, it's been a struggle this week because I've been looking at some stuff, and it's been a learning curve, and I'm taking this YouTube course, and you know one of the things that's going on is I know that I have good stuff to offer you guys. And, once again, if you're going to do an online business, you got to look at the domain name. You need to look at the audience. You need to understand the things that are going to happen. Let's see. All right. PAP Entertainment, we're not even talking about what's going on in Canada. We're talking about what's going on here in the United States of America. You're just going too hard with that. You're acting in a scarcity mindset. And this is another issue that I had to deal with because I was waiting all these companies to get back to me. I was putting time in this stuff. I was taking this course. And I think that's why I got sick because I was just too stressed out. Everything is getting so vanilla all over the internet. Yes, it is, man. So weed and sexually suggestive content can be a problem all over the internet, even with porn sites. But if you're trying to sell a product that has, like, PayPal doesn't care. All the bad raps with PayPal. PayPal doesn't care about any of my products. They don't have a problem. The LSU swap guru, I finally started taking YouTube seriously. I went from 2,500 to 10K in 6 months, but the revenue didn't change much at all. Well, revenue is heavily dependent upon your topic. Like, I'm in business and finance, and I have a very high CPM. I mean, this channel makes, $1,500 to $3,000 a month of AdSense. In many months, I don't even get 100,000 views. But because I get high CPM, I get more juice per video. Making money reviews. I'm afraid of success because I do not want to sell my soul just to reach my wildest dreams of wealth. How do you feel about the elites controlling everything? I don't think they control everything. On a billionaire world level, yeah. But you could make 10, $20 million, a net worth of 10 to $20 million, and not even bump up against that. So I would disagree with you on that. Thank you, NJ Electronics. I'm just sitting here, looking at what I'm doing and examining my business model over the last 3 weeks. The last 3 weeks have been very challenging, difficult, because, whenever you get these emails from Stripe, closure of your account, you're like, what? There ain't no talking to them. But once they make that decision, you are verboten. So I'm getting ready to do something very different because I've been in this space for 3 weeks. Like I said, I got sick, and I know what's possible. And I think one of the reasons that I'm having all these struggles and delays is I'm on the wrong path. I think that's what it is. All right. So we got people using my name to taunt me. That's very interesting. So, I mean, like, once again, if you don't have anything to do with finance or sexually suggested content, you're probably never going to have any of these problems. You're never going to run up into any of these issues. Ricardo, what motivates you to keep going? I know what waits for me if I don't do this. I mean, the last 3 weeks have been very challenging. It's a little upsetting. However, if for the average person out there working at Piggly Wiggly or working at Dollar General, my life looks fantastic, warts and all. So, I'm just kind of sharing with you what goes on behind the internet business, how setting it up. Like, I will tell you something that happened. I got this comment today because I put up an older video. Money, profit, and income. I was using Teachable. And if you want to use a custom domain with Teachable, you got to go through Cloudflare. Did that. For 6 months, it was fine. Then one day, my website just disappeared. And I'm sitting there talking to them, things I got to do, and everything they're telling me doesn't work, and my website's down. So that's why one of the reasons I stopped using Teachable is, like Thinkific, I've had no issues with my custom domain name going on 5 years now. So this is one of the reasons that I am not using Teachable. And Teachable, Thinkific are both pretty much the same. All right. Thank you, Zola. I don't know why I'm getting all these trolls all of a sudden. Engineer life skills, I think that they appropriately worded their stuff correctly because I think my ClickFunnels first page, because see, there's certain language that you have to use. What's your next move? I'll be announcing that in a few days because I'm working on some of that stuff tonight. Yes, William, they are. I don't know what's this affirmative action stuff to a person who's self-employed. Nobody gave me this. The LEC swap group. Well, I could go ahead and tell you, and that's another big source of frustration. YouTube changed the rules. I used paid traffic for years on this channel, and that hurt its organic growth. Now it seems like, and it seems like I heard today that if you use advertising on your channel, it doesn't hurt it anymore. So they've changed the rules again. But the channel has been damaged. You may want to watch Bill Jean's ClickFunnels. I've been through enough of this to know that ClickFunnels is a sleeper. Like I said, the way that I get traffic is YouTube. And ClickFunnels may be an unnecessary step. I don't know. I'm going to still think about that. But thanks for the recommendation. Jerry Marcellus, I write myself a check to my personal account from the business account. Nope, I don't know anything about API calling. Well, we will see, because like I said, this is my first few weeks with ClickFunnels. Michael Robinson, if you could become a successful copywriter, you could become a millionaire. There it is. So hopefully you have a talent for that because good copywriters make millions. Once people become very good copywriters, they don't want to work for anyone. Most of the people I know who start off as really good copywriters, once they figured out that they can create their own product and do the copywriting and not work for anyone, they're out. ClickFunnels, I wouldn't say that. I'm not bashing ClickFunnels. I'm just saying that the learning curve and all the stuff that went with it, and for me, it may not be the thing. I don't think they will enslave you or nothing like that. I think it's a useful tool, but it may be a tool that I don't need because, like I said, right now I'm pulling apart my business. I'm like, okay, what's going to stay? What are we going to keep doing? What we're going to get rid of? Because, frankly, I'm very frustrated these last 3 weeks because I hate putting in an application and having to wait 3 or 4 days to get a response. I'm used to going online and getting credit cards, instant approval, instant approval. And I, figured out that when it took them some time, I was like, okay, we're probably going to run into a problem. Then I get the email today, we need 5 years tax returns on a 2-year-old business. And I'm just sitting there like, oh God, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. So part of this whole thing is Patreon. I'm not going to use Patreon. Now, this is what's funny. What's working really well for Disruptive Mail is the Think of It website and PayPal. I have no issues. It works just fine. So if it ain't broken, I'm not messing with anything that's not broken. I'm only going to apply my efforts and energy to things that are broken. And like YouTube, there's so many things I used to do that I don't do anymore. And I'm going to bring some of those things back because one of the things that I want to do, Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills, I've learned so much from that website. I've learned so many lessons that can be applied to the next thing. And, I'm getting ready because one of the things I got off of, that's one of the big things. Thanks for the $10 super chat, Black Hoodie Fitness. Lunga 216, I want to post my own independent cartoons. Well, if your cartoons aren't for kids, because the way the YouTube works now is every time you upload a video, you have to let people know if it's for kids or not. So I don't know where you're going with your cartoons. But, it's just been really frustrating for the last few weeks because I'm used to moving so much faster. I'm used to doing so much more. And like today, because I was on the phone, and I was just sitting there like, why is this taking so long? Black Hoodie, I was able to quit my job because of you, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'm not going to do Patreon. Rona Stalker, the system that I use as well. Stripe on one channel and PayPal on another channel with Think of It. I'm growing slow, but the keyword is growing. Yeah, if I'm not addressing anything like Disruptive Mail is working. I just got to keep putting up content there, and I'm going to change up the content there a little bit. Um, it's working. I really don't have to do that much for Disruptive Mail. It's working very well. Because essentially, if I had 5 YouTube channels and they all did with Disruptive Mail, I would be extremely happy. And that's one of the things I'm looking at because, like I said, I'm taking this YouTube course and it's making me make different moves. I haven't applied any of that knowledge to this channel. Luke Kennedy, I understand your frustration with dealing with this independence and setting stuff up for business. It's just been really, really frustration. And I haven't felt like this in a long time. Well, I'm going to go back to my roots, Black Caesar. Michael Robinson, copywriting and digital marketing is one of those things I stumbled on. Also had an understanding of embedded commands. Okay, do your thing, man. do your thing. Because one of the things I'm going to do is stay in my lane. And, like I said, it's just frustrating when you have a website that's up making money and it breaks and you've done nothing to it. You haven't tweaked. Because one of the things is once I set up a website, I don't tinker with it because it's just too easy to break something. And then all of a sudden you're getting this 404 or 111 message or something like that. And that's what I don't like about Teachable, that you have to go through this Cloudflare thing and set this stuff up and create a C name, and it just breaks. Because, like I said, money, income, profit isn't coming back, and I get people asking me that. And if you were bought a course on money, income, and profit, go to teachable.com and log in, and you can access your course. So that's one of the things that's good about their system. But I'm going to go back to basics because I think I've been getting a little bit too fancy. Like, I like the ClickFunnels templates. I like all that stuff, but I may not need it. I remember when I launched Hustlers Kung Fu. Oh, here's another little story that I don't think I've shared with y'all. When Josh Barr, I'm not messing with Gumroad. Gumroad is trash. Gumroad is trash right now. Um, the website was hustlerskungfu.com. And then something happened to the domain name and my website disappeared. And I couldn't get Hustlers Kung Fu Life.com back. So I had to come up with Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills to get the site to work again. That's something that happened because I set that site up and it did amazingly well the first 6 months, and then that happened. And I'm just sitting there like, you know, I will tell you, like, my name, I have the domain name glendoncameron.com. I lost my name. That used to be the name of my online furniture store. I lost access to that name for about 8 years. I could never get it. Then one day I just put it in there and it was free and I got it back. Thank you for learning us, allows us to start with new and better hopes. Awesome. I appreciate that. This is an informative expose of what's going on with me because one of the things I've learned is I have multiple things going on. Because let's say actually at the time that hustlerskungfu.com broke, that was the only thing that was going on. But I was able to fix that in a matter of minutes. I can see what I can do. I'm definitely trying to stay positive about YouTube. Yeah. YouTube is a winning ticket. It is really a winning ticket. You get on here and you go ahead and you have the talent to build your audience. You can make you some money. Because here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand about YouTube. You don't have to have 100,000 subscribers to make $1 million a year. You got to have the right. I have so many domain names I'm not using that I have to actually plan a day to go through there and clean that stuff up. But, these are just some of the challenges I have. Like, because I know a lot of people that can sit around and do nothing to make videos, but the last 3 weeks I've worked, except for last week when I was sick, I worked very hard. And, it's a learning process because you have to consistently stay learning. You have to stay in the game. You have to keep learning. You have to keep going down these rabbit holes of knowledge. This is why I'm trying all this new stuff. And I think I just got a little bit too fancy. A little bit. And, I'm going through this process of auditing everything, auditing what I'm doing, auditing my results, because typically whenever I'm having it this challenging, I'm typically on the wrong path. Because I haven't been doing this for just a day or so. And it's just all of this stuff that's got created by these one little thing that happened. I don't know, Black Caesar, why these people are popping up in the comments. Auto renew, almost lost 2 URLs switching the manual. AAA, you need to go ahead and investigate that for yourself. Because I am not a fan of Amazon FBA, but it might be something you can do. You need to investigate that. Because most people who do Amazon FBA end up failing because they're not properly capitalized to do it. If you think you can start Amazon FBA with $500 to $1,000, good luck with that. We plan to get into real estate investing, but also we want to make money online. Which one is your programs what you need to buy? Linfield Moss, stay tuned, because I'm going to start, because I realized that I haven't created training on doing what I do. I've created no training. A lot of the training is resell. The LLC stuff is very current, but that's just something else that hit me because someone asked me, what program do I have? How to play the money game? I don't have any. And I've been getting hit up with a lot of the stuff I've been talking about in recent videos, and I have absolutely no training for none of that stuff. None of it. So I got to rectify that problem. So just stay tuned, because how do you track your conversions? I look at sales, because if you notice that I'm not collecting emails the way that I used to, once again, it's a YouTube thing. Like, I got to go back to basics. I got to get back to basics. I've got to get back on track, and I got to get back to the fundamentals, because this channel got me 5 clients paying me $40,000 to $50,000 a month for consulting. So I have to kind of go back to what I was talking about, and this is why I look at a lot of older videos. All right, Frank James, because once again, once you get into this internet thing, like some of these online groups where these people are using this language where they're talking about conversions, back end funnels, and all this other stuff, that's usually advanced game. This is usually someone who's been doing digital marketing for a long time. Because someone, it just depends upon your offer, what you have to give to people, what you have to sell to people. Um, and that's something else. Because one of the things I used to do was make consistent offers, and I've kind of gotten away from that. And I'm going to go back to that. Because the online game literally changed my life. Changed my life. And I can't go back to that old life. I don't want to go back to that old life. Once you get used to this Wi-Fi bread, it's like an addiction, man. It's like a shot of heroin. Because once you understand that you can create things that make money from intellectual property, it's just, I could never go back. Someone asked me if I would go back to the storage auction business. There's no way that I would go back to the storage auction business, because there was many frustrations about the storage auction business. Like, when you get something that sells really well, once it's gone, then you got all this booty stuff. I hated that. So I would never go back to the storage auction business. I would stay in my lane, because this is something, you can do as an old person. Linfield Moss, would you want to coach us, because we want to help the hungry? All right, Linfield. This is something, Frank Kern, Tony Robbins, the guy with these guys are all old and they still making money doing this stuff. And this ain't gonna disappear. As long as there are people out there who have needs to know new knowledge, it's not gonna disappear. So I'm going back to a lot of the old school stuff, the fundamentals, and once again, I'm going to start talking about a lot of people. There's tons of information about Amazon FBA here on YouTube, tons of it. So anyone, just go to Google machine and put in whatever you're interested in and immerse yourself in that and figure out if it's something you want to do. Like, I never wanted to do Amazon FBA. I never wanted to get into trucking. Like, I got money. I could pay cash for a brand new truck if I wanted to. But that doesn't really turn me on. Absolutely. Trucking doesn't turn me on. You know what turns me on? Creating a course that sells for 5 or 6 years. That turns me on. Oh, Kevin Davis, e-commerce is going to be very big. E-commerce only represents 11% of the economy right now. It's going to get to 30 something percent of the economy. Someone's asking like who's going to cook burgers and stuff. The robots are going to cook the burgers. We're going to be to a point where you're going to go to a restaurant and there's going to be some robotic arms back there cooking the food. I mean, they've gotten that good with automation, and it's just going to get better and better and better and better and better. I mean, e-commerce, like, look up Christian Guzman, look up Max Chewing. And Max Chewing, he does his videos. He's like, I always have to keep 200 or 300 grand in the bank because I always have to spend money to my suppliers in China. Yeah, it's only 11%. It's going to grow exponentially. Amazon is losing some shares. Amazon's losing shares to Apple, Peter Thompson. Glenn, I'm glad that I should join this live. I'm currently working on writing a book. Should I have a personal website, the book, or just sell on Amazon? You need to do both. You need to have a website. You need to put it on Amazon. You need to put it on Barnes and Nobles. You need to be everywhere that you could possibly sell that book. What do you mean automation is passive? Automation is the future. Once they iron out the kinks with these self-driving trucks, that's going to be real. Currently, they're killing people. Recently, they just had a truck deliver some butter, and no one died from California to somewhere in Maine. They went cross country. So once they iron out all these kinks, that's going to be a very real thing. But they got a long way to go. They got a long way to go. We're probably 5 years out from, this being a regular thing where there will be these autonomous trucks and stuff on the highway. And this truck that delivered the butter actually had a driver just for in case of emergencies, someone behind the wheel to take over. Once again, let's talk about passive income. Everyone talks about passive income, meaning that you don't really have to do anything to make your money. Let that dream go. Work on active income first. And then, take the money that you get from active income and invest in things that grow passive income. Because, automation, like to create a robot, that's thousands of dollars. You talked about robot conversion as a response to the pushing of a higher minimum wage. The McDonald's around the corner for me just reopened. Kiosk, fewer workers, progress markers on. Banderdash, actually, I disagree with you. I don't need a tech guy. I need an assistant. And this is my big issue, and this has been the big challenge. I need an assistant who actually knows almost as much as I do, because essentially it would take me months to train somebody, which I may have to do certain things. Land O'Lakes butter. Yep, that's who it was. Everybody wants to be paid, but when it comes time to do work, that's when things get a little dicey. It's like, getting me some kind of tech guy. In the future, I may have a team because I'm looking at that. Yep, that's what I'm talking about, Rob, for real estate. Land O'Lakes butter. So once again, I'm going to go back to putting this together. And one of the things is getting back to the basics. And I think when I was really, really humping, I was putting out a lot of products. And that's something that I've gotten away from. So we're going to get back to that. And they have to be new and exciting products. It just can't be regular old stuff. So I'm going to get back to that. And getting back to making the videos more interesting. Because one of the things that I enjoy is crafting a good video. I really enjoy that. Doing that. And, setting the mood, because I was looking at some older videos and they were just so much better. Well done. So we'll get to that. Yeah, that's the thing. I really don't do a lot of driving. I got two cars, and I think I put 8,000 miles on both of them last year. So that's one of the things that I might bring that back because I got this ideal of this video concept. Appreciate that, Brandon. So, when people say, we got Maxim and Augustine talking about what exactly you're doing. Because when you say automation, what does that mean? What exactly are you doing? So we're going to get back into a lot of basics. I'm probably going to get an intro and an outro. Probably go ahead and put that together. Just a lot of soul searching on how to give you guys better me, better training, better content. This is some of the stuff I've been thinking about because, whenever I get into something, because, I'm not like a stupid kid, but whenever I got to read instructions 3 or 4 times and, I think I got ClickFunnels together pretty quickly. But what I want to do, because, here's an issue with ClickFunnels. If I use ClickFunnels and I have my online course in ClickFunnels, that works very smoothly. But the way I'm thinking about doing it is if you go through ClickFunnels, once you sign up with the website, you have to enter your name and make a purchase. And that sounds like such a simple thing. But if there's too many steps, people get lost. I mean, really. All right, Rob, for real estate. No, I'm not messing with. See, this is one of the things. I haven't bought a storage unit in 11 years. And this is one of the issues with this channel is there's a lot of storage auction content on this channel. And this is why I'm going to build more new channels because I got the personal finance channel. and I'm going to also create some more channels. I'm not messing with it because my heart ain't in it. Because I don't do storage auctions anymore. It's been 11 years. And once again, I remember I was in this chat and I was having this fight, and this guy knew who I was, but I didn't know who he was. And he's like, "Oh, you're Glendon Cameron. You're that storage auction guy." I was like, "It's funny. You know who I am, but I have no idea who you are." And everybody was like cracking up. But no, going forward, because I'm 53 years old, and I'm looking at what's the next decade of my life going to look like. And I don't want to do resale videos and stuff. And I'm just looking at Tony Robbins and all these other folks who were continuing to do what they wanted to do with their lives. Because Tony Robbins is, how old is Tony Robbins? How old is Tony? Tony is, I don't even want Atlanta. Tony Robbins is 59 years old. And his partner, Dean Grozzi, is something else like that. So, the next 10 years, I'm just looking at that, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to set it up, how I'm going to continue to push forward. Thank you, Ricardo. Maxine, now this is one of the realest comments. I really did it on my own, like from scratch. It took me almost 3 years to make 20,000 a month from it. It's basically coding a pattern and then I loop it. Now he lost a lot of people with that last sentence because a lot of people don't know coding pattern loop it. What are you talking about? Kevin, that's one of my channel ideals, personal development for next year. So that's what I'm going to do. Dave Ramsey's 59 years old. Oh, okay. Pretty much engineer life skills. No, I'm not messing with any auctions and stuff because one of the things that happened to me when I started doing this is new doors opened. I mean, when I wrote my first book and it sold and I saw that money in there, I was like, wow, this is real. I didn't know I could do that until I did it. And then this is, just setting that up was such a game changer for my life because I was able to craft a book. You can go on Amazon and see it. You can buy it if you want to. I was able to craft a book and was able to thrust my ideals and concepts into the world via a book, and people bought it. It was such a game changer for me. It was like, whoa, this is like magic. And once you get into that space, it's very hard to get out of it. And like Tony Robbins and all these other folks, this is something I can do in my old age. I don't have to give it up. I can slow it down because, the plan is I'm going to go hard for another 10 years. Maybe. Just kind of depends. But, in 10 years, I'll be 63 years old. And I'll still be doing something. But, I'm going to probably crank it down a little bit. Balderdash, make me an affiliate and I set up the marketing machine with everything: emails, SMLs, funnels, responders. You build the course, I do the tech. Let's talk. I need to see some of your results of you doing this. Send me evidence of you doing this because one of the things that, and this is no mark on you because I don't know what you're just saying. You just made me an offer, but I've wasted a lot of time talking to people how to set stuff up, and nothing's gotten done, and that's just so frustrating. Maxine, you are a different kind of animal because most people don't think coding is fun. They think it is a headache. But, we need to start moving a little faster. We need to start dropping information. We need to get people skilled up because, like, one of the things I learned from Hustlers Kung Fu is the site's too bulky. There's just too much on it. And there's not an easy way to. I know, man. That's still on the map, man. That's still on the map. So one of the things that I want to do, because there's so many things I want to do, but I got to maintain this, and I gotta get this back to the way that it was, because we're not been cranking the way that I used to crank. All right, all these people teaching themselves coding. I haven't been really cranking the way that I used to. And I think I got a little sidetracked, and I'm just looking at getting back to the way things were. So that's one of the things I'm doing because, like, the whole ClickFunnels experiment, the whole getting on the phone, talking to all these people, putting in these applications and all this other stuff, it just kind of slowed me down. And I mean, actually, it stopped. We'll be honest, a lot of stuff just stopped because working on this course, and it did not, fortunately, I've got the course somewhere. 'Cause one of the things I've learned, if you ever create an online course, you want to create a folder where you have that course so you can always access those videos because sometimes your training website will drop content and then someone will go there and it's like, hey, this is missing, and then you can just easily reload it, upload it there. Because like I said, one of the things is that I'm not teaching people how to do what I'm doing. I've got all these courses over here about stuff I've done, but there are no courses teaching people what I'm doing. Because I'm making a list, the money game, how to make money with content, how to sell on YouTube, and I'm going to create some more ideas. So, good Lord, BK Pro, I just received a notification of this live stream, and we be going for almost 80 minutes. This is one of the things I've noticed that typically toward the end of the live stream, I'll get a bunch of people come in, and I think that's when YouTube's sending out notifications, which is crazy to me. But I'm just sharing what's going on with me, what's happening, the things that I plan on doing because that I think I'm going to launch, and I'm going to make y'all a great deal because 2020 I plan on doing a lot. I plan on doing a lot, and also the personal life. It's kind of interesting, because she left August. So September, October, November. And that's just kind of hitting me that I'm up in this house by myself. Because one of the things is I haven't been looking for a replacement. So, and I don't think I'm going to get a replacement. I don't think I'm ever going to live. Because if I ever live with a woman again, it's going to be very different than this last. Because, like I said, I just did not get out of the deal what I put into it, and that's just not happening to me. Jemison, I will say, even though I don't watch every one of your videos, since I've been watching videos, my business, my hustling kung fu has gotten very strong. All right, Ernest, I got in 30 seconds, one of the lucky ones. We're on the stock. Yeah. Because, like I said, I'm looking at the next 10 years, which is going to be a big milestone. Like 10 years from now, I'll be 63 years old. And, I've lived, I've had a really good life. I mean, I have lived on life on my terms for the last 20 something years, 21, 22 years. And that's been really good and amazing. And the next 10 years, I got to create a roadmap and a plan because, I've achieved most of my goals in life. I want to, the Russian icebreaker thing, that's a long-term goal. That hasn't happened yet. Um, but I got to think about that. Where we going the next 10 years? So that's, because I may do a live stream like the next 10 years because I want to get back to writing. I really do. That's funny because essentially, you know, building like funnels, building funnels. It's like this is something that a lot of people don't understand because I saw someone in ClickFunnels put up this. It's like, how do you get traffic outside of paid advertising? And there was very few mentions of YouTube. And I know YouTube has made a lot of millionaires. Like people just don't get this because it's let's say it is what it is. It's a very good way to get awareness. It's a very good way to build a brand. It's a very good way to enter a niche. There are some YouTube channels that only have 20,000 subscribers, and these channels make six figures a year because of what they talk about. So that's one of the things. And I want to jazz up the personal finance channel because I'm looking at doing that a little differently. Just sitting here sharing some thoughts of what's it like to own an internet business. I know you see all of the people on the laptop, living the laptop lifestyle, on the beach, living the life the way that they want to. And there's no one that's just saying about the frustrations that happen when you're online and all of that stuff that goes on with that. Because, like I said, the last few weeks have been very frustrating. And I'm ready to come out of the cave. Kevin Davis, the nomad niche is loud as hell, no subset at all. There's a lot of stuff on there that I wonder how they make money, but I realize that people are not self aware. They're just not, they don't understand their limitations. what's the initial aspect of writing the book and getting it? What pulled me away from resale is YouTube. When I was on YouTube, and I was one of the originating founders, fathers of the resale community on YouTube, it was the hate. A lot of resellers are some cheap, hateful mofos. And I just didn't like the mindset, so that got me out of it. I used to do a little resell, I stopped reselling probably 2011 because I used to buy and flip stuff on Craigslist. But I didn't like the mindset because it was based in scarcity and cheapness. And that just got me out of it. Preppy Hood, hey Glenn, and how do you advertise a book to make money? First of all, you write a book that people want to buy. That's the first step. Miss Danny Louise, especially since we all been taught to go to college and go to work. Yeah, that's one of the things that's going to be very different about the new training. Um, like writing books. Here's the key: if you want to write a book that makes money, write a book that people want or need. Like 50 Shades of Grey. I know why that book did so well. A lot of women have some repressed sexual urges. And I know why that book did so well. I know exactly why it did well. Because when I was doing my Craigslist protocols and I was writing ads, it was all of the kinky, freaky, deaky ass that got the best response, the best looking chicks consistently. It was just, so if you're writing a book, do some research and write a book for an audience that already exists. Because this is where many writers is just like, hey, I'm writing this book. And then once the finished product is done, then they try to sell it. Then that's one of the worst things you can do. Once again, the book should be about something that people want to read. You should do some research, figure out what genres have large readerships, and write a book in that genre. I see exactly where you're coming from. I got into a couple of battles at the auction. They thought I was coming with my little piggy bank. I pulled out the big guns all of a sudden. Hey, that's one thing that scares them. More money. Because a bidding war is very exciting, but there is nothing worse than winning a bidding war and regretting that you bought that unit. That's one of the worst feelings ever. Because I got really comfortable running people up because I can read body language. So I knew everyone's tell when they were just about to get off. So I would like stop bidding and drop it on them. Rona, that's coming back. Like I said, Preppy Hood, once again, anyone that writes a book, writing a book is hard, right? Well, one of the things that is harder and very much necessary is promoting the book. Hey, bro, I appreciate the recent video that you put out, how to come up with money and funny. Thank you for the $5 super chat. So, books can be very profitable if you have the right plan. Thank you, Neck of the Woods. I appreciate it. Rod for real estate. This is why I'm doing this series called Sofa. What is it? I forget the name of it. But I'll be talking about the stories because, whoo, the things that I've used to. All right, Prep Hood. One of the things you want to do is write in a series because, when you write your first book, you should have titles for the next 5 already up in your mind because that's how you make money. All my friends, the Sofa Chronicles, All my friends who are making bank as writers, like one of my friend Russell Blake, he has like 65 books on Amazon. He does about $50,000 per month today, while he's down there in Mexico chilling. So once again, there's so many ways to make money. Thank you, Neck of the Woods. All right, been on here long enough, running my mouth, just talking about some of the struggles, some of the woes behind the scenes of internet business, just some of the stuff I've been going through, and just some of the changes that I'm going to make. So with that, I'll see you guys later.